Good evening, everyone. How's everyone's Sunday going? I have missed you. Anytime I take a week off, trust and believe that I miss you because I look forward to the conversations. I look forward to the input. And where else can we talk and have shenanigans and just be across the world and chat? Hey, girl. Hey. First of all, let me say an amazing shout out to the one and only Adriana Coleman, who hosted her first wellness event yesterday, and I'm so honored to have been a part of it. I was going to DM you and tell you this, but since you're here, I'm going to give you your roses right now. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for getting out of your comfort zone. And I am so looking forward to the next one. This month, this is something that I've been working on for a while, and this has always been a dream of mine that every June is Men's Health Month. And for as long as can remember, girl, don't cry. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've always wanted to have a month dedicated to men's health, featuring different men throughout the country and our world where they celebrate their journey and how they have become advocates. And for my first one ever out the gate, I thought of no one else that I wanted to, hey mama, to be my guest. And it is the one and only Titus. I met Titus through a friend, and if you know Titus, he's one of the most down to earth people you will ever meet. He's also in that category. If you have some say negative to say about Titus, we just have to fight. We just got to fight because I can't imagine why you have issue with Titus. Because you got issue with Titus, you got issue with Scott. Because he is truly a down to earth person. He is a yogi, which I didn't know that he began his pursuit of yoga in 2009 as a way to challenge and strengthen his physical body. And over time, discovered the practice benefited his anxiety and a deeper connection with his spiritual self. And that is something that I really would like to hear more about how we, through practice, yoga practice, can work to make our anxieties or other ills more manageable. He, yo, y'all, I'm tongue tied because I'm nervous. Titus began his career in. So we can honestly say that he is a master of the practice because I'm gonna let him tell it. But I think to be qualified as a yogi, you need 200 hours. I think. So we're gonna let him tell his journey. If you have any questions about yoga and the practice and the connection, this is the person to ask because I'm yoga adjacent. I thought about getting my license to teach, but the 200 hours just really. Yeah, so I'm gonna let other people do it and be a student in the class. So everyone, let's meet Titus.
Hey
Hi.
everybody. Hey
So
Bev.
so welcome and thank you. So tell us how you discovered yoga.
I discovered yoga in 2009. Like you read already on off my bio, I was a runner. And back in the day when I was running, I needed to have a fitness side fitness movement that would help in my balance, my strength, my agility, my endurance, and that worked for a little while in college and at college. And then as the years went on, I realized how heavy anxiety was in my living experience. It got to a point where I just couldn't exist with conversations, interactions that were even minutely anxious from me. And I would get anxious and get stuttery and get really, really, really off centered and off kilter in my body, and my words as well. So, being a student of life, I studied, I looked up, I researched ways to manage anxiety and that kind of thing. And I found breath. That alone is a way to become more mindful in life, living. Your breath is your most accessible tool to become easy, to become less stressed and strained, to become more grounded in life generally. So finding breath back then, I think 2015 or so, I remembered, oh my gosh, yoga and breath, those two are in the same line of life. Let me go ahead and research this yoga thing again with the breath component as well. And then finding that, I uncovered a massive amount of philosophy and studies and ways to live yoga with more intention and with more depth as well.
So when you say you found breath, Can you
Yes.
expand on that?
Yes. So breath and breathing with intention is the quickest way to become a mindful person. As you choose to mind your breath, to have slow, intentional, calm breathing, are ways that can be a simple way to access peace, to access the present moment, to not be anxious about the past or the future, but to be here and to be now.
So that falls right in line in us becoming more mindful and being
Mhm.
able to sit and
Yes.
and discover stillness because in a society now where everything is instantaneous, everything
Mhm.
is right here.
Mhm.
It is becoming a struggle for a lot of people.
To,
So for
to, to,
those
to, to,
that
to, to just be still.
yes, so for those that have never had to do breath work, what does introducing it looks like?
It looks like one of the things that we oftentimes use in yoga class to begin a practice, to begin a class, is to have our students simply first notice the breath. That alone, bringing your awareness and your mind into what's happening, that you're
Mhm,
breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out, can be enough to become present.
mhm. And it was weird. The other day, yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine that Friday I got up and I felt chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it was I didn't start my day off like I normally do. So I normally start my day off with a certain regimen where I center myself,
Mm-hmm.
where I sit still and process the day and think, feel a space of feeling thankful for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, I just got up and hit the ground running, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt it the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for a lot of people, we underestimate the power of sitting still because I remember when we were little, my mom would always tell us when we were doing too much, she'd make us sit still.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
usually led to a nap, which I think why we never sat still
Right.
because it would always lead to a nap. And now I look back that sometimes our parents really weren't wrong in telling us to go sit down somewhere
Mm-hmm.
because you needed that time to recharge.
I can remember my senior members of my family, they would be sitting sometimes with their eyes closed, just resting their eyes, not sleeping, just resting their eyes. Like, what are they doing? I'm just resting my eyes. They were in essence meditating,
Mhm.
in essence just being still, not giving energy, not using energy, existing in their own space, in their own awareness, just as they are right there.
And even I cannot remember her name, but she created the nap ministry
Okay.
and saying that part of it, that rest
Yes,
is
naps.
revolutionary.
Hmm.
That
It is.
rest is a blow to it's so counter to the hustle and grind culture that so many
Hmm.
of us have gotten away from it. And
Hmm.
that to rest is your birthright. So how did you make the transition or incorporate breath work to yoga?
Well, so let me also add this element of my journey into breath and to yoga too. I was raised Christian, in a Christian household, and in that Christian household, I was given the connection to the Holy Spirit, to
Mhm,
God, to Christ, and things, and I realized uh, the name for the Holy Spirit was Ruach. Ruach is the word for the Holy Spirit, and Ruach in Hebrew means breath. So to be able to have access to an internal experience of the divine, of God, of spirit, of infinite wisdom and knowledge, as I simply intentionally and quietly mind my breath,
mhm.
that became not only something for my anxiety or for my presence, but also for access to God in a very intimate way and in a very direct way as well. A lot of times it can be really, really challenging for those who don't know what yoga is to accept the concept of yoga. People often think it's pagan, it's religious, it's all these things that it really, really isn't. It's a practice of studying yourself, of giving time for yourself, of honoring your body, your mind, releasing hold. We oftentimes want to grasp and hold on to things. We can't, if we really think about it, if we inhale and hold a thought or idea, we can't exhale and keep living.
Mhm.
And yoga practice is also designed to have a way of releasing grasp of life just enough to have life come back to you again as well.
And I think yoga and breath work is so counter to the current trends in exercise
Yeah,
where
it is.
you saw a boom in exercises again. Not disparaging other practices because y'all know the
Mm.
classes I teach, and you know I loves me a burpee.
Oh yeah.
I loves me a good burpee. Big push-ups, but when you're in a counter like that, you need the where it's all go, go, go.
hmm
You
hmm
need the balance of release.
Rest.
You need the balance of letting your muscles reset. Every
hmm
class you take cannot be high intensity. It can't be on the go. You have to connect with yourself. And I'm going to speak my own truth that when my first yoga class, I struggled
Yeah.
because I was used to a certain pace.
Yeah.
And then now you're telling me I have to slow down.
hmm
I have to be reflective. I have to
hmm
hold the position. It's like, okay, so I did this. Now what? Now what?
hmm
Okay,
hmm
forward fold into what?
The next thing. The next thing.
Yoga. Warrior. Now what?
Yep. Yep. That's it. And that's
Tree.
like you
Now
said earlier.
hmm,
Go ahead.
I remember I was like, we're gonna do a tree. I know good and well you're just not gonna have me standing here.
In
I
stillness,
know we not
on
about
one foot for 7 breaths.
did
Ooh,
you just
where?
gonna have
Why?
me wait, you want me to lay down and do the dead man's corpse? Oh, cool. Cool. Just I can do that. And I
Mm.
remember I did that and I heard and I was,
Yeah. So many of my students, of course, I always ask the question, what posture was best for them in class? They'll say Savasana, the dead man's corpse pose. But I often have students, like you just said, they'll fall asleep. At the end of class, they'll fall asleep. They often, society isn't, society, the matrix, the narrative of life, it doesn't give us time to rest, to be with ourselves, to hear our own voices, to hear God talk to us. That time isn't given to us at all. So to have a time where it's an hour, maybe 5 minutes of okay, we've breathed, we've moved, we've opened, we've released energy, we've released stress, we've connected to body and spirit and mind. Now let's take 5 minutes to just do nothing.
no, because I'm in a grind culture. I sleep when I dead. I got
Right? That's
yeah.
culture. That's
So
culture.
Adriana has a question for you. She wants to know, did you find it difficult being a man to start yoga?
No, 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 no. um, yes and no. Yes, because literally in my city, in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, I may see out of 5 classes a week, 3 to 4 men. None of them are black. So I didn't see myself in studios at all. I didn't see my gender or my race at all in studios, in the city at least. My practice though was began on my own in my home. I had YouTube, I had apps online. I used that as my guide, of course. And again, I'm a student of life. I will always do what I can do to find the tools to do what I need to do to gain the knowledge and practice for myself as well. But to have a sense of community and a sense of seeing myself in the space of yoga, it wasn't existent at all, at all. So primarily as a man, I didn't come to the space seeing myself, but I did seek whatever I could find to use and find tools to help myself, even if it wasn't going to be a space where it was where I was celebrated for one,
Mhm.
reflected for two, and able to have a brother in the room, sister in the room to dap up and to be enjoyed and to be able to have a different vibe because we have different vibes in
Mhm.
our cousins on the other side, our lighter skinned sisters and brothers.
And I think for some people that has been a barrier
A huge
um,
barrier.
to wanting to walk into a yoga class because I have taken yoga classes and it's a weird feeling when you walk in with your mat and you're welcome with,
Oh,
okay,
hi.
okay, so you're here for yoga. Yes, it's the mat.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And it is a hard feeling sometimes to overcome.
Yeah.
Where and just again, I've been in yoga class, and you look around like, "Hey, nobody else looks like me,"
Mhm.
and you can feel the vibe that is welcoming, but it's not.
And the welcoming vibe is a huge thing, but also there's a common struggle, a common emotional awareness, a common need that we have that isn't shared,
Mhm.
that isn't understood, that can't be held space for at all, if it's not the same culture or race.
Right. So as you have progressed in your career, have you started seeing more of our culture in your classes?
Yes and no. In my classes, that's still a challenge. Most of the studios where I teach, even up to the past few weeks and months, past year or so, it's not fully or even a large number of people of color just yet. I have been doing my best to be in the spaces, to be in studios, to be in the city, to be able to draw that awareness in other cities. I know Atlanta, I know Philly, I know Nashville. There are a lot more black yogis that exist. It's out there, and it's funny because my Instagram, my Instagram, my Instagram feed is full of us
Mhm.
on Instagram. But others who look up yoga, they instantly see tall, thin white women doing yoga, um, white men doing yoga, and a few of us I put in as well. But in my world, I can see a massive amount of yogis that are black around the world.
And it's weird you said that because I follow quite a few wellness pages, and especially out of Atlanta and Nashville, and it's the norm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is.
So what do you think from just in our area, do you think the hesitation is to become a yogi?
The hesitation to become a yogi in Huntsville in the South, and also at the South, I
This
guess,
South.
as well. The South, yeah, the South. For one, like I mentioned earlier, is the connotation of what yoga has to offer, or the connotation of what yoga is most of the community. It's religious. It's for white folk. It's not available for us. If it's not available for us, we're not going to go seek it out at all. If it seems like it's going to be too woo woo or too energy, too other things that we don't really know or believe in, the pursuit of it isn't going to really happen. It's not catered to us. It's not catered to have. Uh, we're loud, we're boisterous, we're full, we're vibrant. You know, that's not really what the yoga vibe is. The yoga vibe is
Mhm.
okay. We're gonna wind down and breathe in and breathe out, and that's good. That's important. But I know even in my own instance, I'm fairly chill, but I have a vibrance to me too, and I want to be able to go to a yoga studio where I get and I feel me, I feel life,
Mhm.
and that doesn't always happen in most studios in the South, in Huntsville either.
So Adriana said we would rather be electric sliding on the grill than become
There
in
you
love
go.
with ourselves. And that is true because as you said that we are on vibe, I think about the emergence of trap yoga.
I was gonna go to the next. Yep, yep.
And I think about the emergence of other subgenres in yoga
Mhm.
that is targeted to our community. But I'm in that space of when I think yoga, I don't think Jeezy. But that's for me
Right.
because I'm coming to look to get centered.
Hmm. Hmm.
So as
And you can get both. Even for myself, I come to yoga for centering, not for the trap and for the grind, but also for centering too. But to not be able to see a black face, to be able to see a male teacher, be able to see someone who you can see and say, yes, I see you and I feel you. I'm not gonna go to that studio.
Mhm. And that's a real thing that I think a lot of people miss, that
Mm.
even in the things that I do, I can tell when I host different things, a person walk in and go, "Whoo,
Ooh.
whoo, I don't have to use the voice today." No, you're fine.
Yep. Yep.
Because
Yep.
we both have a love of hiking.
Hmm.
And I remember one hike, I have to brace everyone, say, "We're going into different spaces, so don't feel put off by
Yeah.
certain comments when people meet you."
Yeah.
Because you're not in a space that we're not normally seeing. Or
Mm.
I've received feedback of people tell me that I've been looking for a space for people that look like me so I could feel comfortable.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So in your practice, it takes 200 hours.
200 practice hours and study hours.
How long does that take?
So honestly, these certifications, these trainings can be condensed into between 6 and 10, maybe 8 weeks at a time if you go hard. They can be as long as 6 to 8 months, a year or two, depending on what the designer of the course is going to offer for the practice. I took mine virtually with a yoga studio at Atlanta, 7 Yoga, and it was a 6 month course. There was several Saturdays of just body movement posture work. There were several workshops, of course, several conversations, of course, a lot of studying, a lot of writing and reading. We did a couple of essays as well. It really depends on what the person who designed the training, how they want to have it offered for those who attended.
I'm going to remain a student.
Remain a student, but also consider this: yoga trainings, because of how they were designed as they came to America, they were originally designed to train teachers to teach yoga, but you can very well take a yoga training and just take it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now that I may do. So a
Yeah.
little birdie told me that you are participating in a new venture in the area
Yeah. What'd you
with
hear?
North Alabama holistic
Holistic
practitioners.
providers? Yes,
Yes.
I am.
So tell us more about that.
So that is a group of individuals who are natural alternative healers in Huntsville. Massage therapists, yoga practitioners, Reiki practitioners, energy workers, coaches, therapists, anything that is alternative to ways to heal your body and your mind. We want to let the world know, that Huntsville know, and the world know that we exist and that there is a home for healing, beyond the allopathic way of doing things in classical ways as well.
So how
And
was that concept created?
it was created somewhat not fully in my mind only, but several of us in the city had a desire to elevate the healing practice, to elevate the fact that you can access health and wellness and centering your body and mind and clearing your body and mind without having to go to a doctor, take medications, and do the classic way of healing your body. I personally love the fact that as Huntsville is growing, people are coming who know this type of work exists in
Mhm.
Huntsville. People who are here who don't know may want to find it. People who are here who know and want it may want to get to it as well. So I had the vision personally myself to give the Huntsville city, for those who don't know and want to know, who know need to get to it, who are coming and know it's out there, come through, come see us.
So how can someone connect with you with the center?
So with NAP, the North Alabama Holistic Providers, you can find us on Instagram with that exact name, North Alabama Holistic Providers on Instagram. We have a website, Huntsville NAP, NAHP.com. Those are the two places to be able to find us, to find our events. We plan to have monthly events in Huntsville, mix and mingles, to be able to have practitioners come together, connect, heal together, healers, healing healers, doing things together on our own, to be able to support our own businesses and
Mhm.
others as well.
I like that. I went to the first one and I had a ball.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That's right. That's right.
I
That's
did, and
right.
I missed the last one because I had a schedule conflict. So when
Right.
you say everyone is invited, what so if for me, if I decide to come to a mix and mingle, what can someone expect when they show up?
So let
Because
me
I want to make
clarify.
sure we did because I know when you're saying healers and Reiki that we
Mhm.
demystify the process.
Let me clarify right now. The mix and mingles are specific to healers, those
Okay.
people who are practitioners, who do massage, who do Reiki, who do energy work, who are yoga therapists. Right now, we're narrowing it down to just those for a few months. In time, we plan to have events and conferences for anyone to come to and to be able
Okay.
to learn about the practices and learn about us too.
Okay. Adriana wants to know if one has body ailments, how would one start yoga?
As one has what kind of elements?
If you have any ailments, how would you ease your way into yoga?
Hmm.
Because I see you and others doing handstands and the
Mhm.
practices, and I'm just like, I barely did a tree. So
Mhm.
where would you recommend someone get started?
So yoga at its core, as I mentioned before, is breath. Letting your breath be your guide, letting your breath become your home, using your breath as a tool. And remember why you are coming to yoga as well. Is yoga your goal because you want to get stronger, you want to have flexibility, or centering, whatever your goal is. If it's in fact of centering and becoming present, let your breath be your guide. Remember too that yoga, as we see, is been promoted to be a very physical practice. That's a very small element of yoga. The
Mhm.
word itself, yoga itself, it means union with mind and body and spirit. Whatever can be done to make that union happen, do that. If it's breath, if it's sitting, if it's resting, if it's being mindful of your area, that too is yoga. We oftentimes get stuck on the postures and let that be yoga. And that's a sliver of what the whole yoga experience really, really is.
I like that. And I like you saying starting with breath work and being still.
Mhm. So I'll share one last thing about the being still. I mentioned earlier on the call already about grasping and holding on to things. Tension comes from holding both our breath, our bodies, our thoughts, and our minds. And the more we can find ourselves letting go of our body, letting go, trusting that life will hold us, not holding thoughts and memories from past and future, finding the space between the thoughts to be larger and larger and larger. That stillness we'll find, that peace we'll find, and that rest we'll find too.
Oh, I like that because it also makes you sit down and confront you,
Yes,
which I think part of why many of us fear stillness.
yes.
Because at some point you have to sit down and deal with you because we talked yesterday where during the height of the pandemic, I had no issue being in here.
Hmm.
None.
Hmm.
Because I was in a space where I knew me and I was okay with myself.
Hmm.
But I also know people that struggled during the pandemic at the height of it because you were by yourself and you couldn't have your normal activities to rely on to offset avoiding dealing with you.
Yeah.
And so one thing I've learned, part of yoga requires me to sit and identify areas where I rush. Because I remember I was in a pose and I was just ready to move on to the next one. And the instructor says, "Where else do you rush?"
Hmm.
And I was sitting there like,
Hmm.
"Oh, you
Called
got."
out, called out, called out.
He said, "Because you're just here, 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 here." He says,
Yeah.
"Where else do you rush through the process?" And I was like, I feel so attacked and seen at the
Mhm.
wow,
Mhm.
you called me out.
And
But
then
that sits in my mind where when I'm in a rush, I'm like, why are you rushing? Why can't you just be in the moment? Where I've noticed if I go to events while everybody's recording, I'm in the moment.
here,
So
here.
there have been events I've gone to, I have no videos because I was
Mm.
locked in.
I love it. I love that. I love that.
And
I
I'm
love
with
that.
friends like, don't go live and put me, don't come over here because
Yeah.
I'm locked in
I'm
because
here.
I
I'm
want to
here.
experience this.
Life is happening right here and now.
And you're not and you're robbing me of the opportunity
Mhm.
to experience.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if anyone wants to take your classes, how can they find your schedule?
My schedule in Huntsville can be found in two places. My website, SimiAye. My business name is SimiAye, SIMIAYE.com. I'll say it again, SIMIAYE.com. And it
Mhm.
means, in the Yoruba language, it means breathe life. My business name. On that page, you can find me, my information about what I do, where I do, how I do, scheduling, booking for one on one classes as well. And of course, on Instagram, my handle on IG is the fourth, THAFOURTH.
Yes, because the third said hi.
Hey, Dad.
If you know what, if nobody else shows up, our parents
They gonna show. They gonna show.
are
They gonna
always
show.
because my mama here faithfully, and I love her for that. I do. I love her for that. So, is there any other parting words about yoga or breath work or just overall wellness you'd like to share for us?
A good friend of mine in town reminded me that breathing with intention is self care. The easiest way to care for yourself is to breathe.
I put that in the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Breathing with intention is. So for someone who's never thought about it in that aspect, what does that look like?
Looks like slowing down. It looks like um, giving yourself compassion. It looks like trusting that what you're doing now, where you are now, is enough. It looks like softening,
Mm.
and knowing that it's not bad or wrong to be soft. That you're always held in life. Um, Breathing as self care affirms life, affirms the cycle and rhythm of life. It affirms you being alive. It helps you to come back to you. You mentioned a minute ago that it was that we're oftentimes afraid to be by ourselves, but that the inverse is that you are always with yourself. You have yourself at all times. You always have you to be with, to experience, to learn with, to learn from, and to study. And when you can slow down enough to see who you are, to change who you are, to evolve who you are, and to clear out the things that have been blocking and hoarding and converging on your mind, you'll find what's always there, you, and you'll always find peace.
Oh, I like that. That's a lot of shadow work.
It is. It is.
That's the hard
It
shadow
is.
work is when, for those who are not familiar, is when you meet you
Mm-hmm.
and you have to acknowledge that sometimes it's not them, it's you. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to do the work to start healing the hard place. And it's not sexy, it's not loud. It can show up like I did in yoga, where the lady, when I was rushing through the poses and I got called out saying, "You're rushing. Why are you always in a rush to get to the end?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been inundated with the grind culture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been inundated with hurry up and finish. Not about the
Mm-hmm.
destination, but it's about to say, I went to yoga today. Wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about saying that I had
Check
a
it out.
chance to be centered. I had a chance to be released. I had a chance to release tension. It was, well,
Yeah.
I got some time. I'm going to yoga.
Yeah.
But now it's my to-do list because I have embraced Team Soft Life and the nap ministry and rest. My list
Yeah.
has gotten shorter and more
Mm-hmm.
productive.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I go walk my dog, I don't take anything. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just she and I outside, just
Yeah.
wandering around while she's rolling in the grass. I'm
Yeah.
just embracing it. So this is, I understand that to embrace yoga and centering and breath work is counter to the culture that we've all been
Countercultural.
inundated with.
It's
So
countercultural. It
if
is.
you've never embraced it, if you've never really thought about it, you don't have to wait to January to embrace new ideas.
Please don't.
You don't, please, you, it's 6 months from now. So if you've never considered yoga, you've never considered breath work, I encourage you to add this in your toolbox as a way to be in center. And I love how you mentioned it helped with your anxiety. Because again, when I'm too far off the reservation, I think back how my day has gone and go, you haven't sat still.
Mhm.
And because you haven't sat still, this is why you are chaotic energy.
That's right. That's right.
So take his classes, participate in the hikes. Um,
Take the classes, but even of course I'm going to promote me, obviously, but YouTube exists and has thousands of Black yogis that are
yeah,
out there that give us who we need to see online. Instagram has a ton of things available as well as far as resources. Look up. I know it's hard to find Black yoga online; it's difficult. But if you go to YouTube, put in Black yogis, we're out there. We're out
I
there.
found someone that does comedic yoga,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
I
I
may
like
be bringing that into Huntsville soon. I hope to be able to study that a little deeper soon and bring Comedic Yoga to Huntsville as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
put me down.
I got you. I got you. I got
Put
you.
me down. Now, do you have any events coming up next month?
Next month, I am planning an event. I am planning an event. Mid July. Mid July. I've had
Oh,
an
what I did
idea
there.
for. You did. You did. Thank you very much, Bev. I'm planning a mindfulness, mental health, and movement event in Huntsville. Planning on having several different vendors, several different types of activities for the body, things that are both mindful, movement based, but of course things into our mental health as well. I will share on my social media page more details to come soon, But mid July, hoping to be able to have an awesome, first of its kind in Huntsville of connecting body and mind, spirit together as well.
I love this community that's emerging in
It's
Huntsville,
it's growing.
and I am so honored to be a part of it. I really am. I'm just floored that just to see how it's mushrooming in the city, and just to know, like, I'm on the fringe of it. I feel like one of the
Yeah,
cool kids.
yeah.
So yeah, so y'all, that is all we have for this evening. Titus, do you have any final words you'd like to share?
Breathe life.
I like that. Don't go anywhere. Y'all, I have several guests lined up for the month of men's health. This month, I just misspelled health on on the thing.
No,
Golly, I heard men's health. Mm, mm, mm. Hold on. Now there's no title. Okay, so I just
okay.
realized I misspelled health on my own banner. See, that's what happens when you don't have your glasses on and you make it. This is what happens when you don't wear your glasses when you're making
Okay,
these banners.
okay.
Because reading is fundamental.
It's fundamental. It's fundamental.
So I did not know. But reading is fundamental and wear your glasses when you're making slides. Y'all, I have an entire month dedicated to some great men in the health field, as well as again, wellness is
Mhm,
multidimensional. So I
mhm,
have brought in lined up some great people. I am so honored to bring and highlight some amazing men in this space. This has been a dream come true that I felt weird sliding into everybody's DMs, but I did it anyway.
You did it. You did it.
Hang on, Titus. So y'all, that is all I have for today. I will wait, it's not Father's Day. I will see y'all next week.